G'day subscribers, we're at the workbench and we're looking at Nasco accessories inside and outside of your car that make driving and being a passenger in your FX and FJ Holden just that little bit easier. You're with Jules Knight on Jive Talking Garage. Right, so I've been asked about anti-glare masks to start with, and they would come out in a blue like this. So this is the lens that goes over the top of the mirror, and it just stays there on a matter of two springs. It's got two little clamps on them, and when there's a car behind you that has its lights too bright, you just pull that down and it darkens the lights for you. So, you know, I think that was a really good idea. I did actually take it a couple of steps further. I made it bigger for the FJ mirror when I originally bought an FX one, because I got the FJ size. But I thought, oh, well, they only come in blue. But being how I am, I thought, well, they can come in green and they can come in red too. So that's fine. So I've got red for my FJ, and I've actually been asked by Tristan to do his as well. So I've already put his green one away over there on the workbench. So that's all good. Now, we're talking about the inside and outside of a car. So one of the good things is the anti-theft lock. So that's a genuine Nasco part, Nasco accessory. And in this instance, you know, I bought one that come with a key, which is even better because then I don't have to go to the locksmith. Now it has also a protective sleeve of rubber or plastic or whatever. It's a bit firm, but that's to protect the gear shift lever. But you also have to be careful when you're clicking it in place that nothing gets scratched on this part as well. So, but you only learn that from experience. But that's a really good accessory to have. Okie doke. Now, with the other things, I've had it on my Ute, my FJ panel van. I've got them for this car as well. My door mirrors either side. I really like these. Obviously, they're not made by Nasco because Nasco doesn't make anything. They send it out and they get companies like Wybrock to make them. So you'll see there'll either be a Nasco. So three things happen. You'll see a Nasco insignia printed on there, or Wybrock will make the exact same thing for themselves using the Holden specification, or it'll just be plain. It's the same thing. Same thing made by the same people. So that's what I like. Now, the other thing I like is, and this is a Wybrock part, but this is a guard mirror. So you can see this gets mounted on the top of the guard. So you're driving and that's down forward, and it's mounted on the top of the guard. And I really like that. I've got one for each side, so it should look pretty snappy. So that's the guard mirror, and it's just, you know, it's just bolted using the configuration of the bolt through the stem of the mirror itself, and then it just has a rubber, a washer, and a nut to attach it. So that's the fastening part of it. But look, that's really good. I like that. I'm going to use it myself. Now, seeing we're at that part of the car, I like these, and I saw these when I went to America to get married back in 1997. Now, these are a pair of Headlight Peaks. I think they look pretty snappy. I really like them. You see a lot of them in stainless steel, but these ones are in a red perspex. So I'm thinking, given it's going to fit in with all the other little bits of red pieces that I've got for Nasco accessories and so on my car, well, that would look quite nice. So, you know, that's a good thing. And I have something similar for one of those mirrors as well too, just a little, so the mirror would fit in here, and then the shield goes over the top of it as well, just to keep the rain and whatever off it. And I'm thinking, I like that, it's a bit flash. Now, let's talk about the inside of the car for a moment. Now, oh, by the way, before I move on, we just did the lenses for the anti-mask, or the anti-glare mirror, anti-glare mask. Well, this is what it really looks like. So you can see the hinges, you can see the two little clamps. Yes, that's what it looks like. So that goes with those other lenses that I was just telling you about before. So, yeah, it's a pretty good thing. I really like it. I think, you know, those Holden blokes, they were certainly out there and trying to make a good car nice. Now, talking about good car nice, the FJ was designed as an improvement to the 48215, commonly known as the FX. Okay, that being the case, they made a more luxurious looking grille. They upgraded the interior. And one of the things that they did was, rather than the vertical lines in front of the speaker on the radio dash, well, they went from vertical lines to horizontal lines. Now, this is the panel that actually goes underneath the glove box. Now, this is on a special. Now, a special would, all of the models had this in front of the speaker as a speaker grill, but you could have this as standard as a glove box on a special, but you could also have this part that goes underneath. Now, you could actually buy, you could pay the money and buy as an extra this part, and it literally just screws onto your standard FJ. But you could also get the door for the glove box in the same type of finish as well. So you can upgrade your ute, your panel van, or your standard to that if you wanted to. So I quite like that. It's a bit flash, and subscribers will know I like flash things. Okay, let's keep going, shall we? Now, during the week, I got finally settled on my switches. So I have the choice of 2 genuine reversing lights. I've got this one that goes at the back, and I quite like it. I think it's really good. This one's in outstanding condition. It's really nice condition, this one. So I'm going to mount that at the back of the panel wagon. Certainly where it'll be out of the road of everything. I'm just being careful where I put things at the moment. If you'll excuse me as I do a little bit of wiggling around here. So I'll put that away. Now the other one's a bit smaller. Now, in my time working in supply departments, the only time you get alternatives is when one thing becomes unavailable. It's out of stock. So they go to another. And this one's a Campbell. Now, I quite like this one. This is really good. It's been nicely constructed. Comes with a bulb inside there. Needs a little bit of work, but, you know, for all intents and purposes, it's ready to roll. Quite like it. So, you know, they'll be on the back of my FJ panel wagon. And I just need to I'll talk to the Brains Trust. I'm sure we'll land on something. So that's those. Now, I think I'll tell you a little story. We had a friend, it was one of my schoolboy mates' sisters, and Michael and I played in the same football team together. His sister Susan had an FX, and she found an exhaust deflector. what's called a droop, an exhaust droop, at Carina Wreckers. So she came to us and said, oh, look, we're all mates in the club. And she said, I found a droop, but the bloke won't just sell the droop. I've got to buy the whole collection of FXFJs to get it. So I think we bought 5 cars. There was at least 10 of us pulling every piece of FXFJ. This is 1982, out of Carina Wreckers, just so that Susan could get her droop. Anyway, I got one. But anytime I look at it, I think of Susan. And Carina Wreckers that they didn't have guard dogs, they had guard emus. But anyway, what I like in an FJ, and I haven't polished this one, Lachlan's polished another one, is following the bird. Now that's a beautiful bonnet mascot, hood ornament. I think they look terrific. Now standards didn't necessarily come with them. Specials certainly did. But you do see a lot of, utes and panel vans with them. Some with them, some without them. But I always love following the bird. It's just a really nice bonnet mascot. Fastened underneath with a big and a small screw. And not a bad ornament as well. Part number 7407449 by the look of it. Tiny little numbers in there, but it's a little 2-piece unit. The wings come off, you can see where it's split underneath there, and that's how they've cast it. So really good accessory, a real common accessory as well, but it's a pleasure to travel behind, let me just say it that way. Okie dokie. So 3 more things to talk about. Firstly, I like everybody else who has an FJ, they want some scratch plates. So these are for my Rat Roddy FJ before I paint it. So, they're perfectly acceptable for what they are. Love that. They look good. Very happy with them. They'll look nice and, they don't have a dent in them. They've got a little bit of wallow, but or tin canning, as they say. But generally speaking, they're pretty good. Now, what they do is when the door handle gets maneuvered, well, they stop scratching of the paint with with people with rings or a diamond on it or any of that sort of stuff, and they certainly help in that department, just protecting the paint. Now, once they're done, well, they do look quite flash. I'm just reaching over for one for you. You're going from that to that. I mean, you can see the red here and the black in the slots. They look pretty flash. They look pretty flash. I really like the idea of scratch plates on cars. But then it also extends further, because then they have them as a bonnet ornament, and they go 2 different ways. So these look really good as a matching ornament on an FJ bonnet, because they've got the they've got the little line, and then they've got the slots there. Now these are old stock. I've got my set of 6. There's no marks on them or anything. I mean, they're new old stock. Price guide, probably, let's talk about a set of 6, shall we? You'll pay anything from $300 to $550. There's a guy in Sydney doing really good reproductions, and they look just right. So if you got nothing, you got nothing. But even if you can go out and get some that are made, and they're being made now, well, hey, good for him, good for you. They look really good. And I've seen them go on eBay to $850 something. So really nice piece. I think an FJ doesn't really get set off until it's, you know, got scratch plates, really. And let's face it, you know, it's a pleasure to have a car with, you know, nice things on it. So that's that piece. Now, the other week I was talking to subscribers because, so this is 2 episodes ago. So I'd gone out and bought an AC oil filter. I'm going to sandblast this black. Sorry, sandblast it and paint it black. Sandblast this and paint it black because it's supposed to be black. We'll clean up the hoses, so that'll all be fine. Now, this piece here is going to get the Dulux treatment for hammer shield. It's metal shield, and it says, you know, hammered finish, because that's what it's supposed to be. So we'll resurface it with that, and obviously with the black pieces, we're going to go with the Dulux, because Dulux paint is really good, and it's never given me a problem. So let's recap. Nasco accessories inside and outside the car. We've talked about oil filter, we've talked about mirrors, we've talked about scratch plates, we've talked about the little mini ornaments that go on the bonnet, we've talked about the anti-glare mask, we've talked about lots and lots of things that make motoring more of a pleasure for you. And that's one of the reasons that we have an FX or an FJ, because great car, great piece of Australiana. We want to get out and drive it. We want to enjoy what we're doing. And then we want to come home and go over on Facebook and look at Jive Talking Garage to see what we're doing there, the quirky Homer Holden. So don't forget to refer your friends to that, and also refer your friends to Jive Talking Garage on YouTube, because we want you to share, like, and subscribe. But more importantly, enjoy your Holden.